Welcome to the video. My name is Nemoto, and in this video we're going to talk about how you can create your reality by putting yourself in a difficult situation. And speaking of a difficult situation, I am on the day 2 of Ramadan. I'm not Muslim, but I have a huge respect to all of you guys who's Muslim and in practice of Ramadan. And it's because I've done multiple fasting in my life, and this is the longest dry fast, or periodically the dry fast. To be honest, it's not that difficult for me, but I find very fascinating, and then I have a huge respect. So I want to challenge myself for this 30 days challenge. I believe it's 30 days. But not only just dry fast, not only without water, without food from the sunrise to the sunset, but also you're not allowed to have a sexual engagement or sexual intention, or looking out at girls like nice ass, nice butt. Just be good and do good. And I think the most important principle in Ramadan is that you be good and do good under the certain circumstances, which is very difficult. Because when you're so hungry, you get frustrated, you get irritated, and you act like, fuck, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. But that's the true color of who you are. When you are absolutely comfortable and everything's doing fine, you can be kind to other people. It's so easy to be kind to other people and say something kind. But when you're in a difficult situation, when you're hungry, when you're exhausted, you're frustrated, and if you don't have the discipline in your mind, if you cannot control your mind, then of course you're going to act like a fucking douchebag, right? But in Ramadan, you have to, especially in Ramadan, you have to do good and be good when you're absolutely hungry and when you're absolutely thirsty. I just want to make sure I am not a Muslim, but I have a huge respect to the religion itself and then people who follows the practices and principles of Ramadan and other Muslim and the Quran. And I do also have huge respect to pretty much everyone who does principles and then the rules and discipline within their daily life and have a belief and the faith. If you believe in God and if you follow the rules, whether it's a Christian or Jewish or Muslim, you have the rules and principles, right? And then that actually requires for you to take time when you're tired. You have to pray, you have to wake up early, you have to do certain things, you have to, give up sex until the marriage. There's a lot of rules and principles that you have to follow. So that's why I have huge respect whether you're Muslim or not, but you have these rules and following these rules and you stick to it, don't compromising it. Because there are so many people who doesn't have any rules and any principle, anything pretty much, because it's so easy. So you guys are choosing something difficult for yourself and for your God, and in which I really deeply appreciate it and I respect it. So with this said, in this video, what I'm going to talk about is that how you can utilize these type of principle of such a Ramadan to create your reality better and faster. Every religion or every teachings in this world, in any region, they speak about something about this consciousness and reality creation. And even Buddha speaks about it. When he reached enlightenment, he spoke about, this fake world, it's all bullshit. But this feeling that you feel from the enlightenment is just absolutely amazing and heavenly. It's amazing. And then from that state of being, you can manifest pretty much anything. And that's how powerful your mind is. And then I want you to really understand your mind is the most powerful force in the entire world. That's why all the government wants to manipulate your mind. That's why when it comes to the war, the first thing that they want to manipulate is other countries' mind. And the same goes to the sports. If you look at the sports, let's talk about football, right? Messi used to be very young and aggressive. What would be the best tactics for the opponent to win the game against Messi? Is to piss him off. Because when Messi is pissed off and so angry, he cannot play better, he cannot perform the best. So what would they do is that they're going to do a little bit sneaky tactics and make him pissed off so that he will lose control of his mind. And then when you want to create your reality, you scale your business, grow your income, and achieve more goals and achieve your dream, you want to take control of your mind. And here's the thing, most people, like I said before, most people will sit there, don't do nothing. Well, I want to be like this and I want to be like that, but I'm busy, I don't have time, I don't have money, and I cannot do it. Whatever the story that they tell themselves, that's also their reality. They're wishing that to be true. That's why they're telling themselves. But there are rare individuals will sit here and, you know what? I want to put myself in a difficult situation and I want to challenge myself to grow better, and I want to challenge myself to think differently in a difficult situations. And especially the ones that who runs a business and understands, unlike a corporate job, if you don't do the work, then of course the money will not going to come into your bank account. If you stop working, then of course you don't get money, right? Until you have the system. So it's a very scary thing to just literally walking the edge of unknown, that you might just fall into unknown and you were making $20,000 a month and the next month you're only making $5,000 a month. We all have this up and down, and it's a scary thing because if you don't do well, then of course, you cannot pay the bills, and then you're the only person that you can rely on. So you have to think straight, you have to be straight and positive and calm and peace when you are actually facing these difficult situations in an unknown. And how does principle and practice such like Ramadan helps you to actually create your reality better is because you have to face difficulties, and then you have to keep yourself calm and at peace and even do or be good. You have to stay positive. You have to give yourself just how you want to feel and how you want to think in this difficult situation, especially when you're hungry, when you're frustrated, when you're thirsty. Right now, it's 1 p.m. and I'll tell you, the first morning, I woke up, I'm hungry. And the first day, I'm not gonna lie, yesterday, I felt that irritation, I felt that frustration, but I also was very aware of how I think and how I feel, especially when I'm in that state. So obviously the way of thinking was slightly more aggressive. Way of thinking of mine was slightly less positive. So obviously when you identify this pattern of yours, okay, when I am in a frustrated situation or condition, and of course I think a little bit different, and that's my true color. But it's easy to practice. You just have to be aware of it, and you want to think differently. How do I want to think? This is not who I am. I'm a very kind person. I'm a very genuine person. But if these conditions affect me to be that way, then I might be also the person who think negative and who think aggressive. But you can change your personality. It's called a personality shifting. And then especially, there is a lot of practice in meditation as well. When you meditate, when you're in a difficult situation, when you meditate in a difficult situation, such as like the loud environment, or when you're in pain, etc., it's very, very difficult to meditate. It's very difficult. Not only just sit in silence, in just calm room, and then you're sitting on a yoga mat, it's easy. But when you're in pain, when you're in uncomfortable condition, it's very difficult to meditate. So by putting yourself in such a condition to meditate, it trains your mind. But the purpose is to understand your true nature, your true color, and who you actually are, and change your personality. Because if you can be the person, if you shift your personality into somebody who's like always calm and then peaceful, and especially when you're in a difficult situation, you can give yourself an excuses and justify your lack of kindness and lack of ability to control your mind. Oh yeah, but it was a difficult condition, I was hungry. But that's just an excuse, and then you are allowing yourself, you're telling yourself it's okay to be a douchebag when I'm hungry. It's okay to be an asshole when I'm in a little bit stressful situation. But when you're in a difficult situation, when you are in the situation where you're feeling the stress, when you're feeling the frustration, that's your true color. That's who you actually are. Instead of giving yourself this excuse and allowing yourself to be a douchebag and telling yourself it's okay to be a douchebag and asshole when I'm hungry or when I'm drunk, XYZ. And when you actually shift the personality, and especially in a difficult situation, learn to be kind, learn to be calm, learn to be positive, what happens is you are actually thinking positively and then focusing on what you want and focusing on what you want to manifest, what you want to create in a difficult situations. And why it's so important is because majority of time that we are awake, we are dealing with some sort of stress. Even the ones that we don't think it's stress, it's a stress, right? So we are dealing with a lot of stress, but you can shift your mind and then bring back yourself a center and then focus on, you know what, my life is amazing. I'm really grateful the fact that I'm on this Ramadan challenge. I'm really grateful the fact that I get to experience this teaching and the wisdom. I am grateful of my life, and I'm grateful that I have so much money and an abundance. I'm grateful for these clients and XYZ, rather than thinking like my employee is annoying and they don't do the work and XYZ. Maybe they don't do the work. Maybe they are actually incapable of work, but it doesn't worth it. Why? Because it doesn't worth for me to think and feel positive. But I could shift my mind into, okay, what I want to think about, what I want to feel. I want to feel so abundant. I want to feel so rich and wealthy and successful. And I want to feel so grateful in this life because I want to achieve more goals and I want to grow my income. I want to scale my business and I want to achieve even more goals. And I need to be tapping into the frequency. I need to be tapping in to the energy and the thought process and the emotions. I don't have time for bitching about these people who doesn't do the work, because that's not me. That's not my responsibility. That's not who I am. I can replace them. I can pay somebody else, or I can do it myself. There's other solution to it, right? But the most important thing is it doesn't worth for me. It doesn't worth for me to just embrace my anger to him or to something else and feel the vibration frequency and feel the energy and then thinking angry, thinking negative, thinking aggressive. And I don't want to give myself an excuse to allow myself to be that person when I'm frustrated or when I'm exhausted. I am that type of person who's going on a hike and I'm tired, but I'm telling myself, yeah, let's go, keep going. And somebody is late, then I'll tell myself, let's fucking go. You got this, bro. I'm that type of person. Just because I'm tired, I'm not gonna just, bitch about it. If it's tired and challenging, I want to encourage myself and I want to encourage other people who's doing the same thing, who's doing their best. I'm not gonna give myself an excuse to be a douchebag and to be a little bitch when it's difficult. It's a simple practice, it's a simple principle to understand. But if you do it, what happens is your mind becomes so stronger and it's so resilient that you can control much better of your thought process. Each thought, we have 60,000 thoughts every single day. We have more control over when you're resilient towards stress. But a lot of mental health oriented content right now, a lot of people speaks about it's okay, just release the stress, but you can't. Your mind gets weaker and weaker and weaker, and now you cannot even cope stress. What happens is like, oh, something happened, I'm sad. But what happens if your life is dedicated to avoid stress? You cannot do anything in life. You cannot survive. You cannot live properly. And that's why I'm confident who I am, and my mind is stronger than anything in the world, and I believe it. And I can achieve anything. I believe it. And if you have this level of mind, I call it Zen mind. If you have the Zen mind, and if you tap into this Zen mind, all you think is that what you want to think instead of what you don't want to think. And then you will be feeling more content and happy and fulfilled. And then you're tapping into the high vibration frequency, even if the condition or situation is a little bit more stressful and frustrated. So if you want to create reality, you cannot avoid difficulties, because God will test you, the universe will test you if you can expand your mind. And if you want to learn how you can actually grow your business and scale your business and achieve your dream and more goals by reprogramming your mind, reprogramming your beliefs and self-image and your subconscious mind, so that you can create your reality the way you want it, I am hosting a webinar on 31st March, 8 p.m. Japan time on Sunday, about how you can actually reprogram your mind to achieve more goals and grow your income. So if you're interested, if you're serious about it, register from the comment or the description, and I'll see you in the webinar. See ya. Live your life like a movie.